a continuous activity.
Okay.
So dividing that among many people really isn't a problem until you start running video. Once you start running video, then you have what's called streaming, where it is going on continuously for long periods of time, and it becomes a lot more important how much bandwidth you have. We've set up Alaska Online TV so that a minimum of 34K will work, which means a 56K modem can view the program. Now, that isn't the best quality. The best quality, we've actually set it up for, depending on when we did the program, anywhere from 150 to 220 kilobits. So anybody with a cable modem can view the program almost as clearly as regular video.
Well, one of the things we've been working in moving our server around and getting a new location, when are we going to have it up and running, and how can people tune in to Alaska Online? Your show, other shows, we're going to put up some shows with Jay Hammond and so forth on it. Right now I've got a show of old shipmate of mine that we did on Pearl Harbor up online.
Right. It doesn't take very long to convert the shows from the video to the digital format. That tends to happen within a few weeks of when the program is done. But people can go to www.alaskaonlinetv.com, and they'll see that in the credits at the end of the program. So if you go there, just navigate through the pages, and you can find the programs.
Okay, well, let's go back again to the education opportunities. In other words, for a lot of the young people that are out there, is there adequate IT education opportunities available through our university system?
My opinion certainly is yes. I think the university system served me very well. Like I said, not only did I get academic education, but I also got a lot of hands-on. When I left the university, I went to work for the federal court system, and that was a very rewarding place to work. I was there 10 years, and we have wonderful judges in this state, federal judges. They're terrific people. And it was a very interesting environment where we were able to build a network that covered the whole state, and we developed custom software and did all that. I would say most of the experience that I brought to that probably came from the hands-on that I got at the university as I was helping other students, as a student employee. But I think our education is very good in this state. You recently showed me a report by John Deedy, I believe his name is, talking about the improvements they're going to put into the university system, not only in Anchorage, but I know they're doing it on the other campuses. Those improvements are going to have a major effect in training people to be what they need for modern.
We live, ever since 9/11, and you and I both know before, there's been terrorism within the Internet, the attacks on the Internet, which is really the backbone of this nation's communication, or rapidly becoming so. So we want to come back after this break and touch on that. Red Boucher, don't go away. We're talking about the role of IT in our 49 state. We'll be back with you in just a minute or so.
Janelle Murphy, marathoner, mountain biker, grandmother, and account executive for ACS.
And this is Taku, and we're going to do some magic for you today, aren't we, buddy?
A guy with always something up his sleeve, Jerry Snow, magician. Jerry Snow, engineer for ACS.
Think you've seen it all? Think again. It's your life. Live it. It's your time. Use it. It's your future. Protect it. Air Force Reserve. Above and beyond.
1-800-257-1222. Welcome back, Scott. We were talking about IT, the education opportunities for young people in Alaska. But we were also talking about, we've seen since 9/11, there have been a number of attacks on the internet, and I'm sure that there are many people that would like to bring our internet system to its knees. Let's talk about the vulnerability of internet to, if you will, terrorist attacks.
Well, the number one thing that the security community is realizing is we haven't yet seen a very effective internet attack. There are ways of attacking the actual infrastructure that really haven't been happening. But we have seen a very alarming turn of events. We've always had to worry about email viruses, and before that was boot sector viruses. But the email viruses are probably the biggest concern at the moment for most consumers because they come in through your email system. There's no firewall to stop it. Your system is basically asking for these attachments that come in. There's no way to just block those out unless you have software that scans your email as it comes in. That's probably the biggest concern, and I'm noticing most of the viruses out there are caused by people receiving attachments from people that they don't know and then actually running these attachments and running the programs, and that is really the big thing they need to avoid doing.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a moment. You said software. Well, let's just assume for the average person that may not be aware. Let's talk about that particular software.
The software that I use is called Zone Alarm Pro.
One more time now.
Zone Alarm Pro.
Zone Alarm Pro.
Right,
okay.
and you can get it at zonelabs.com. They do have a free version, but the free version doesn't scan email. You need to actually get the pro version and pay the $35 or whatever it is, and it will actually render your incoming attachments inert before they reach you. Norton Antivirus is another very good one.
Which one?
Norton Antivirus.
Norton Antivirus, okay.
Right, you can get that at Symantec.com or at CompUSA, any of the stores. And those basically stop the virus in its tracks before it has a chance to hurt you. The alarming change that we've seen lately, though, and I know you've seen it affect your server, is the so-called Code Red and Code Red 2 and the NIMDA viruses. I'm still seeing some attacks of Code Red 2 on your server, as a matter of fact. But, of course, we've been keeping up on the patches. Now, here's where we get into tech talk. But basically, if you're going to operate an internet server, you need somebody constantly maintaining your security and making sure that you're not vulnerable to these things. But you can still watch them as they attempt to break into your system. These latest viruses are alarming because they look like they've been written by professionals. They use multiple methods of attack to get into your systems. Code Red, for instance, can come in by email. It can also attack your server directly. Once it comes into your system by email, you then become a launching off point to attack other servers. And if it attacks your server then goes out and tries to attack others. And we had a lot of problems on the internet just by the traffic that was caused by the Code Red viruses. Just simply the attempts to break into all the other servers overwhelmed the internet for a few days. And so that's a real serious concern. The professionals are not that concerned about it in terms of the long-term effects because they know things like Code Red. Somebody will issue a patch that fixes whatever vulnerability they're using to break in. And they're a lot more concerned about infrastructure attacks that we really haven't seen yet. Groups like the Taliban, they're not exactly cyber warriors. You know, we don't really need to be that concerned about groups like them. But there is a lot of concern about future combat situations and who we may have come at us in an organized fashion against our internet.
Well, you know, one of the things that a lot of, you know, programming is just not confined to the United States, to bright people in this country. And in